Here's something nobody tells you about moving abroad. The day you leave India, you actually become more Indian. I know, it sounds backwards, but stay with me because what I'm about to show you explains why a software engineer in Seattle knows more Bharatnatyam than his cousin in Bangalore, and why Diwali in Toronto looks bigger than Diwali in Delhi at times. If you've ever been part of the Indian community abroad, Canada, the US, Australia, you've probably noticed this as well. Festivals you casually celebrated back home, suddenly they're events. Whether it's Navratri, Diwali, Ganesh Chaturthi, even Pongal and even Baisakhi. They're not just dates on a calendar, they're full-blown productions. Families coming together, lights, food, music, everything amplified. While back in India, Diwali might have been sweets, crackers, dinner, a pretty low-key affair. Here, it's a full-blown festival, matching outfits, kids performing, samosas for the whole neighborhood. So what's going on? Why this change in personality? When you move abroad, you don't just leave a country, you leave behind the texture of everyday life. Whether it's the chaos of a street festival, the comfort of hearing your mother tongue everywhere, the harmless familiarity of strangers, and suddenly, it's gone. So what do? You recreate it. Not because you're resisting change, but because festivals are the closest thing we have to a time machine. They take you back to who you were, before the responsibilities, before adulthood, before you became the immigrant. And here's the truth, when culture surrounds you, you take it for granted. I'm speaking from personal experience. The loud temple music, the traffic jams, the social obligations you'd rather skip. But when culture becomes scarce, when you have to seek it out, it becomes precious. You're not just celebrating a festival, you're holding on to a piece of home. But there's another layer, a much deeper one. When you move abroad, you don't just miss culture. You miss your people, your extended family, your childhood friends, your neighbor who bought you chai, even the auto driver who knows your regular route. And festivals, they just become the glue that binds it together. They turn strangers into friends, co-workers into emergency contacts, people from different states who might not even talk back home into your new family. Because here, you're all the same. You're all far away from home. When 200 Indians gather in Calgary for Navratri, it's not about the Garba. It's about belonging. Back home, community is built in. Here, you have to build it yourself, and festivals are how you build it. Talk to any first generation immigrant and you'll hear the same worry. Will our kids stay connected to their roots? Will they grow up too American, too British, too Canadian? Will they forget their language, forget their stories, forget the feeling of being an Indian? So what do parents do? They double down. Whether it's classical music, dance classes, weekend language schools, trips to India, stage performances, cultural competitions. And here's the most beautiful part. These second-gen kids, they don't treat culture as a burden. They treat it as an identity, something that makes them unique, something to be proud of. Culture doesn't survive through force, it survives through pride. Now zoom out for a moment, because this isn't about just Indians missing home. It's something much bigger. There are over 30 million Indians living outside India, and everywhere they go, they carry their culture with them. Not through colonization, not through control, but through celebration. Food, music, festivals, joy. Nobody forced Mahatma Gandhi's Ahimsa into global culture. It just spread. Nobody mandated yoga studios, or global Diwali parties, or the chicken tikka masala becoming a British national dish. Culture spreads when it's shared, not enforced. And festivals, they're the front door. When an Indian family in Sydney invites its fellow Australian neighbors to Diwali, they're not just lighting diyas, they're building bridges. A Bharatnatyam performance in Texas with 5 nationalities in their audience, that's globalization at its most beautiful. This is how culture has always traveled, slowly, organically, carried by the people who care enough to pass it on. So here's what I've realized. When people say you're leaving your culture behind when you move abroad, they're completely wrong. You're not leaving it behind, you're taking it global. In fact, festivals overseas today feel like festivals in India from 20 years ago. Some might even say that was the best era of being in India. I'd go as far as saying that the best era of Indian culture is happening outside India right now. And maybe, just maybe, the reason we celebrate louder, dance harder, and cook bigger when we're away from home isn't because we're clinging onto the past. It's because we fully understand its value. You carry India with you wherever you go.